The silent vanguard. The message echoed through every communication channel in the known galaxy, transmitted simultaneously across thousands of worlds. Simple, direct, and utterly chilling in its conviction. You chose war, and now we will show you how it's won. For 3 centuries, humanity had endured the contempt of the galactic hegemony. Earth, dismissed as an insignificant blue speck orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, had been relegated to the status of a protectorate, a polite term for subjugation. The 7 dominant species that formed the Hegemony Council viewed humans as barely evolved primates, useful for their abundant planet and occasional manual labor, but otherwise inconsequential. Commander Alexis Wright stood on the bridge of the EDF Phantom, Earth's first true warship, hidden within the rings of Saturn. Unlike the civilian transport vessels the hegemony permitted Earth to operate, the Phantom was a weapon of war, constructed in secret over decades. Her sleek, obsidian hull absorbed rather than reflected light, and her engines operated on principles humanity had publicly pretended not to understand. Status report. Wright commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. All systems nominal, Commander, Lieutenant Cato replied from his station. The fleet is in position. Stealth systems functioning at optimal capacity. The hegemony remains unaware of our presence. Wright nodded, her gray eyes reflecting the holographic display that showed Earth's true military might. 50 warships hidden throughout the solar system, each crewed by men and women who had trained in secret, prepared to fight for humanity's freedom. 3 days earlier, the Hegemony Council had issued their final edict. Earth would surrender an additional 30% of its natural resources and accept permanent hegemony garrisons on its surface. The human representative had been permitted only to listen, not to speak. The decision was not a negotiation, but a demand to be obeyed. Humanity had spent the last century appearing to comply with similar edicts while secretly preparing for this moment. Earth's nations had united under a single banner, channeling their resources and intelligence toward one purpose: liberation. Signal from Earth Command confirmed. Communication Officer Garcia announced. Operation Thunderclap is authorized. Wright took a deep breath. This would be the first blow in a war the hegemony didn't yet know it was fighting. Deploy the Wraiths, she ordered. Across the solar system, smaller vessels detached from the larger warships, stealth craft equipped with technology that had never been seen in the galaxy. They accelerated rapidly, slipping into faster-than-light travel using principles that humanity had discovered independently and kept hidden from their oppressors. The hegemony's primary military installation in the Arcturus system was the cornerstone of their dominance in this sector of space. Housing a fleet of 300 warships and home to nearly 50,000 military personnel, it represented the overwhelming force that had kept subjugated worlds in line for millennia. Admiral Zorn of the Krell, the most militaristic of the hegemony species, was reviewing reports when the first alarm sounded. By then, it was already too late. The Wraiths emerged from FTL travel directly within the installation's defense perimeter, an impossible maneuver according to known physics. Before the hegemony forces could react, precisely targeted energy pulses disabled their command centers, communication arrays, and primary weapon systems. No shots were fired at the hegemony vessels themselves. They didn't need to be. Within 7 minutes, the most formidable military installation in the sector had been rendered completely inoperable without a single casualty. On every screen and communication device in the installation, the same message appeared: you chose war, and now we will show you how it's won. Simultaneously, similar operations were executed at 5 other key hegemony military installations. In each case, the pattern was identical: surgical strikes that neutralized offensive capabilities without inflicting casualties. Each attack was followed by the same ominous message. In the Grand Council chamber on Hegemony Prime, pandemonium erupted as reports flooded in. The 7 High Counselors, each representing one of the dominant species, gathered in emergency session. Impossible. High Counselor Thex of the Volus thundered, his crystalline form pulsating with agitation. The humans do not possess this technology. They do not possess these capabilities. Evidently, High Counselor Elia of the Navar replied coolly, "They do." On the bridge of the Phantom, Commander Wright received confirmation of Operation Thunderclap's success. All 6 targets had been neutralized without a single casualty on either side. It was precisely as Earth Command had planned. A demonstration of overwhelming technological superiority, without the needless spilling of blood. "Prepare for Phase 2, Wright ordered, "and open a direct channel to the Hegemony Council." When her face appeared on the main display in the Hegemony Council chamber, the 7 High Counselors fell silent. Most had never seen a human in military uniform before. The hegemony had ensured that humans were portrayed as primitive, emotional creatures barely capable of operating the technology gifted to them. The woman on the screen defied that narrative. Her posture radiated authority, her expression one of absolute resolve. "High Counselors of the hegemony," Wright began, her voice calm yet unyielding. "For 3 centuries, Earth has endured your contempt, your exploitation, and your oppression. You have taken our resources, restricted our development, and treated us as little more than animals to be managed." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "Today that ends. As you have now witnessed, humanity possesses technologies and capabilities you believe beyond our reach. What you experienced was not an act of war, but a demonstration of restraint. We could have destroyed those installations. We chose not to." The council chamber remained silent, the shock palpable even across the vast distance. "These are our terms. Earth will be recognized as a sovereign and equal member of the galactic community. All restrictive treaties are hereby null and void. All hegemony forces will withdraw from Earth space immediately. You have 6 hours to comply." "Or what?" High Counselor Drav of the Morgan finally snarled, his predatory instincts overcoming his shock. "You think a few clever tricks will bring the hegemony to its knees. We will crush you." Commander Wright's expression didn't change. 6 hours. After that, we will not limit our operations to demonstrations. You chose war, High Counselor. We are merely showing you how it's won." The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. For the first time in centuries, the hegemony faced a threat it had not anticipated and did not understand. The countdown had begun. Reckoning Day. The hegemony's response came not with words but with force. 5 hours after Commander Wright's ultimatum, the largest battle fleet ever assembled in this sector emerged from FTL travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Over 500 warships, representing the combined might of all 7 hegemony species, moved into attack formation. On Earth, billions watched the approaching armada on their view screens. There was fear, certainly, but also a strange, quiet resolve. For generations, humanity had lived under the shadow of alien domination. Now, at last, they would stand or fall on their own terms. In the Lunar Command Center built deep beneath the surface of Earth's moon, General Amani Shen observed the tactical display with the calm of a chess master who had anticipated her opponent's moves long in advance. "They're deploying exactly as expected," she noted to the assembled command staff. "Predictable. All forces assume Defense Protocol Aegis. Throughout the solar system, Earth's true defensive network activated. Orbital platforms previously disguised as communication relays, mining facilities, and scientific outposts revealed their true nature. Energy shields enveloped Earth and its colonies on Mars, and the larger moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The hegemony fleet launched its first volley, enough firepower to reduce a planet's surface to molten slag. The energy shields absorbed the onslaught without strain, the advanced technology converting the enemy's attack into usable power that strengthened the defenses further. "Signal Admiral Zorn," General Chen ordered. "One last opportunity to withdraw." The Krell Admiral's response was immediate and profane, ending with a promise to reduce Earth to atoms. Chen nodded, unsurprised. "Very well. Commence Operation Guillotine." Throughout the solar system, Humanity's hidden fleet emerged from stealth. The 50 warships were joined by 300 smaller craft, all utilizing technology the hegemony had never encountered. They moved with impossible speed and precision, their weapons targeting the hegemony vessel's propulsion and weapon systems rather than their life support. At Proxima Station, the forward command post of the hegemony's invasion force, Admiral Zorn watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled. Ship after ship reported critical failures as microscopic drones, another technology humanity had kept secret, infiltrated their systems and rewrote their command protocols. "This cannot be happening," he growled, his leathery skin flushing with rage. "These are primitives. How are they doing this?" The answer came in the form of a direct transmission to his command center. Commander Wright's face appeared on his screen, her expression still composed despite the battle raging around her. "Admiral Zorn," she acknowledged, "your fleet is disabled. Your soldiers are unharmed, but can no longer fight. I offer you one final opportunity to order a full withdrawal of all hegemony forces from Earth space." Zorn snarled, baring razor-sharp teeth. "I will never surrender to a lesser species." Wright's expression softened slightly, almost pitying. "This isn't about surrender, Admiral. It's about recognition. Humanity is not lesser. We never were. Your perception was simply limited." She gestured, and the tactical display on Zorn's command center changed, showing him the true extent of Earth's military capabilities now deployed throughout the solar system. "We could have destroyed your fleet the moment it arrived," Wright continued. "We chose not to. Even now, with victory assured, we choose restraint, not out of weakness, but out of principle. That is the difference between us." For the first time in his long, distinguished career, Admiral Zorn felt something unfamiliar: doubt. The humans had outmaneuvered, outfought, and outwitted the most powerful military force in the galaxy without suffering a single casualty. And they had done it while deliberately avoiding inflicting unnecessary harm on their enemies. "The Hegemony Council has reconvened," Wright informed him. "They're waiting for your assessment." Zorn's pride warred with his duty and his instinct for survival. Finally, his pragmatism won out. "I will recommend withdrawal," he conceded, the words bitter on his tongue. "But know this, human, this is not over." Wright nodded. "No, Admiral, this is just the beginning." Within 24 hours, the Hegemony Council had agreed to Earth's terms, recognizing humanity as a sovereign power and withdrawing all forces from Earth space. It was not a decision made from wisdom or justice, but from necessity. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that threatened the hegemony's dominance throughout the galaxy. 1 month later, representatives from Earth met with the Hegemony Council on neutral ground, a space station orbiting a star on the border between Earth space and hegemony territory. Commander Wright, now appointed as Earth's chief diplomat, led the human delegation. "We do not seek war," she told the assembled council. "We never did. We sought only respect and the right to determine our own destiny." "And yet you developed weapons in secret," High Counselor Fex pointed out. "You prepared for war while pretending to accept peace." "We developed technologies," Wright corrected. "Technologies that could be used for war, yes, but also for exploration, for medical advancement, for solving the energy crisis that plague countless worlds in this galaxy. We kept these developments secret because your protocols forced us to." She leaned forward, her gaze moving from one counselor to the next. "The question now is not what happened in the past, but what happens next. Earth proposes a new compact, not a hegemony ruled by 7 species, but a true galactic federation where all sentient species have equal voice and equal rights." The proposal was revolutionary, threatening centuries of established order. And yet, the hegemony found itself without alternatives. Earth had proven that military subjugation was no longer possible. And what of the other worlds under hegemony protection? High Counselor Elia asked carefully. "They will be given the same choice Earth has claimed," Wright replied. "Self-determination. Those who wish to remain under hegemony governance may do so. Those who wish independence may claim it. Those who wish to join the new federation will be welcomed. It was not a perfect solution. The transition would be complex, fraught with challenges and resistance from those who benefited from the old order. But it was a beginning, a fundamental shift in how the galaxy would be governed. As the negotiations continued, news of Earth's victory spread throughout the galaxy. Other subjugated species looked to humanity with hope and admiration. The message that had begun as a warning, "You chose war, and now we will show you how it's won," had transformed into something else entirely. Earth had won not through destruction, but through determination. Not through conquest, but through conviction. And in doing so, they had changed the galaxy forever. On the observation deck of the station, Commander Wright stood alone, watching the stars. They seemed different now, not distant, unreachable points of light, but beacons of possibility. "Commander," a voice called. She turned to see Lieutenant Cato approaching. "The Council has accepted our initial proposal," he reported. "They're scheduling a galaxy-wide announcement for tomorrow." Wright nodded, returning her gaze to the stars. "Then our real work begins." "Sir, winning the war was the easy part, Lieutenant," she explained softly. "Building a peace that lasts, that's the true challenge. But if any species can do it," she smiled, "it's us." Together, they watched as a new chapter in galactic history began, one where humanity would no longer be dismissed, no longer be subjugated, but would take its rightful place among the stars. Not as conquerors, but as equals. Not through force alone, but through the courage to stand firm and the wisdom to show restraint. Earth had indeed shown the galaxy how war is won, not through destruction, but through the determination to forge a better future for all.